All right, just getting set up here. Take a few minutes to get into the sourcing. So if you want, you can skip ahead in the video if you're watching this on the replay. Otherwise, welcome to the stream. Just going to do some reverse sourcing. Yeah, I would like to just try to get through a couple products, kind of explain my process of how I source. Hope to give you guys some value, and yeah, see how long we can go. If I get a lot of questions, then I'll stay on a little longer. But yeah, I'm going to pull up a product that I want to start with, and then we will get started. So, Saw the source from Hibbit. I used to. I am now banned from Hibbit, as is most resellers. But if you're not banned from Hibbit, they always have a lot of good sales. If you live near one, they do as low as like a 25% off if you pick up in store, or you order online, pick up in store. So definitely take advantage of that if you live by one. Otherwise, they run like 20% off sales like all the time. So if you're doing any kind of sourcing there, always assume you get a 20% off. And if you find a good product, you just wait until they run the 20% off sale. Guaranteed they're going to run something over the 4th of July weekend or something around the holidays. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you want to start sourcing there now, again, assume you get a 20% off. So calculate that into your buy cost, and you will hopefully find some good products there. So pulling up, we're going to look at industrial or technology products. I'm trying to think of one product that I want to search. All right, let's see. Not the right product. All right, I think I got something maybe. One seller. Never mind. Let me keep searching here. Sold by Amazon, but okay. There we go. Now I got the brand name. I've seen that 25% off of pickups. Yeah, if you get a sale item with the 25% off, I mean, it's like guaranteed profit. Not guaranteed, but it's really solid profit. So yeah, you get a list of products that you know are going to come around when they run that 25% off sale. You can really run it up. So highly recommend doing that. And then eventually, if you buy enough stuff from Hibbit, right, like you can try to avoid getting banned as long as possible if you are buying like less than 10 of something or keeping your cart under $1,000. But you know, I was at a point where I was buying like less than 20 of something. So I'd buy like 19 headbands or pairs of socks or whatever. And yeah, eventually the order stopped working, and then, or the order would go through and it would get canceled like 20 minutes later. So that's when you know you got the ban. And then, yeah, you basically just use it until you can't. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to look at second window here. All right. So I am looking at like these like breaker board, you know, some kind of breakers here. I know a lot of these like Amazon is going to be on, but if we can find some that Amazon's not on, and then we basically look at the other products of theirs. So this is like a really low rank in the tools category. So like we could look at something like this. We could also, and it's got a couple sellers on there. So that's kind of what we want to see. Something with like a 200K rank in tools and home improvement. Let's look at Jungle Scout just so we can all get a kind of good idea of what products we're going to be looking for, or what ranks we're going to be looking for in the, you know, I guess what category. are we looking at here? We're looking at tools and home improvement categories. So, if we're looking at 100K in that category, we will see tools, home improvement. So 100K is 90 sales a month. Okay. If we want to look at um, health and household, 100K is a little bit more. So just something to keep in mind, right? We're looking at tools and home improvement. We get up to 200K, and all of a sudden down to 30, it gets a little risky. We got to look at the data to understand if we actually want to buy this. So just so we're aware here, so we got a 3K rank on this product, which is really good in basically any category, but there's a bunch of different variations. So we just got to look at the variations tab on Keepa. Jan asks, Ulta known for canceling orders? I've never gotten an order canceled from Ulta. I'm not normally buying a ton of stuff from them, but I have placed a couple orders recently, and I'm using gift cards. I'm using rewards points that they offer. Can be some good deals there. So my experience in the past, though, if it's a really easy like homepage Ulta sale and you find a product pretty easily, then you might run into issues of price tanking. But if you got a really low price, hopefully you're finding some good ROI products that will work for you. And then you kind of build up those rewards points, and then you can spend those when you are buying items as well. And then you basically have a little bit of a lower buy cost than anybody else buying. So you can kind of beat the tank a little bit more. Unwind Travels, thanks for joining. Too late to send back stuff back to school like FBA backpacks? No, it's not too late at all. I mean, what's your average, time from when you ship stuff out to Amazon that it actually becomes available to sell? If the prep center, it might take a little longer, but even that, it's like a month out. August, anytime in August, anytime in July is basically prime time for back to school stuff. So send that. Yeah, I would be sending stuff in until like mid-July. Like I have not my prep center. If I ship stuff out myself to Amazon, I can basically guarantee that it's going to be available to sell in like 2 weeks. So I could go almost to August sending FBA before I start switching to FBM. So it all depends on how quickly your stuff gets checked in. But if it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks, then kind of do the math. September. Once you get into September, then you kind of don't want to be like, hopefully stuff is already checked in and you're starting to sell, but you definitely don't want to run into issue of, stuff taking like 5-6 weeks to ship, and you sent it out in the beginning of August, and all of a sudden it's mid-September and you have a bunch of backpacks sitting in inventory. Not backpacks still sell in September, but it definitely slows down. The rank starts to creep up. So just something to keep in mind. Do you have any small and light? I do have some small and light. You can search for that stuff on Keep a Product Finder if you really want it. Otherwise, sometimes you just come across those types of products. If you can get it for like $3 and sell it for 11, you're gonna make, you're not gonna make a ton of money, like profit wise. You make maybe $2 or $3, but the ROI is really high, and hopefully you don't see a lot of tanking in that because a lot of people aren't looking at small and light. So you don't trust seller amp estimated sales. Heard mixed opinions. I trust it for the most part, but I do like to double check if it's a category that I don't source often, or I just am not super familiar with. Like I source the tools and home improvement, but I'm still not like super versed in what sales rank equates to how many sales. So because it's different for everything, right? Like 3K in tools and home improvement. Let's do a little experiment here. 3K in tools and home improvement, 2,500 times a month. But if you go health and household, 3K is 8,000. So, it's a little, for me, I know more about like that and the beauty category and stuff than I do tools, home improvement or automotive or stuff like that. So, I'm going to just cross-reference with Jungle Scout just to make sure that the number's accurate. And here it's going to be a little bit more accurate, but like when you get into the lower numbers, sometimes it'll say like 11 sales a month, right, for 200K rank. But you go into the data and it actually shows that it sells like 30 or 40 times a month. So a little bit different. You just want to double check if you aren't fully sure. And if you're going to buy the product anyways, why not spend an extra 30 seconds double checking how many times it's going to sell so you know how many to buy at the start. So, all right, let's get into product here. We got to do some sourcing. So I want to look at the variations tab. I want to see which ones actually sell here, because some of them might not sell at all, or at least very slowly. Hopefully we're taking ones that sell, a little bit more. Normally the multi-packs hopefully are going to give us lot of the multi-packs here are like such low sellers. Like they only have 30 reviews here when some of the top ones have, over 1,000 reviews. So we just want to keep that in mind. Are these multi-packs actually selling? So we're looking at, a 40 amp 3-pack, when the 40 amp, let's see here, 40 amp, 40 amp. 40 amp is selling for $15 by itself. 3 of them, it's going for 45. So basically, like on par with like 15 as a 3-pack. So you're not really saving money buying the 3-pack, which is probably why it's not doing well. If this was priced at like $40, then it's like cheaper to buy 3 instead of 1 3 times. Maybe that gives you a little boost there. But this 3-pack for 20 amp is actually $61. Doesn't look like it sells all that often, which is unfortunate, but that one would probably give you a better chance of being profitable. But we're looking at, let's see, 100 amp 1-pack. Let's just look at this one, $38. We got to find it a lot cheaper than that. So hopefully we can do that. But I guess we will see once we look at Google. All right. We're looking at $15. So one thing I like to check on something like this, when there's a part number or a manufacturer part number or whatever it is, some sort of, part number that specifies which specific one this is, because there's so many different, right? There's 100 amp, there's 20 amp, 40 amp. We want to make sure we have the right one, because all of them have different barcodes or different part numbers. So you can actually search in Google, put the part number in quotes, and then it will basically put all the searches that have that exact part number, right? When you put anything in quotes, it's going to make sure that exact thing is in the search bar. So you're not like guessing, right? Like it might, if you don't have the quotes, it could do like the Q2120 instead of the 21.100. So we're going to search that instead. And it's only going to put the ones that, hopefully it only puts the ones that have this exact part number in the title or in the name. And then that will hopefully weed out some of the bad searches, or at least remove some confusion. So this one's the right one, but it's $36, right? We need this for 19, which is going to be pretty tough here. But we do see this is a 40 amp. Okay, so the 40 amp is only 16. That means the 100 amp is probably going to be tough to get it for like under $20, but we'll see. Here's a 6-pack for 100. Let's see, 100. What do we got? $420 divide. Yeah, no way. $70 for the 100 amp, and that's a multi-pack too. So that's going to make it a little tricky. $42 for, not even sure what the amperage is on that one. 100 amp here, 37. So it doesn't look like we're going to find it cheap enough. So don't want to spend too much time on that. But what we can do here is, this is how I kind of like to source, is we find a product that we think could be good, right? There's obviously some people, 50 people selling this. So maybe I just didn't find the right source, or a lot of them are selling it used. But you saw that used price was like basically the new price, which is very interesting. People are still getting sales with the used price being the exact same as the new price. Interesting. But, if we have a listing that seems pretty solid, we can look at some of the other sellers on the listing, and we can see, look at their storefronts and see what other products they have. Since we're looking at this, industrial type product or tools and home improvement, hopefully some of these other sellers have other tools and home improvement products, so we can, expand our product search there. Looks like some of these are going to be like huge in stock or huge review sellers, but not all of them. Like this one here is only 53 reviews, 5-star. That's pretty good. So let's take a look at their storefront. And then we're going to reverse source off of that. And then we're going to basically, okay, so they only have, wow, for having 53 reviews, which is, you got to be selling quite often to have 53 reviews. They only have 5 products. That's really weird. Not sure if you can hide products from this search, but the only one I'm seeing that would make sense is this one. Maybe these two here, because Amazon's on this a bunch. Amazon. So let's look again. Like some categories, I can just tell from like the max cost if it's going to be hard to find or easy to find. but the BSR is good. Offer count's pretty low. I can't tell if $32 is good for 125 amp. We did see the 100 amp was like $37, so maybe some store has a discount on the 125 amps. So let's open the Amazon page, take a look, and then we'll go into Google right away because we do kind of know that based on the chart. Yeah, it looks pretty flat. It doesn't look like the buy box gets shared all that often. But again, everything's pretty consistent here. So let's take a look. So sheesh, $7.50 for a 6-pack. That's not going to work. 56, that's way too high. Again, if we want to get technical, we can search specifically with that. The quotes here, 56. Yeah, we need it for 30 some. 31 refurbished. If we were to sell this used, which I don't know which of these are used or new, clearly someone's selling them used. So basically, oh no, not this one. That was the other listing that was, selling them used. But so 31, if this was new, that 31 price would work. Don't think we're going to find this specific 125 amp cheap enough. So we won't spend too much time on it. So let's go to another, or I guess we could look at this one. Let's see, $5. I don't think we're going to find it based on the current prices we're looking at. So let's go to a new seller. That one was not good. How do you have 53 reviews when you only have one or five, one brand, 5 products, unless they're selling, maybe that's a wholesale, storefront with just this Simon, products, but who knows? Looks like we're gonna have to look at some of these FBM sellers, sorry. So let's take a look at this one, 185 reviews. Hopefully they have a few more products in their arsenal. Okay, cool. They have a bunch of different products here. So hopefully it's not like a wholesale type thing. I do see Amazon on a lot of these, but let's just sort by category here. We're gonna skip to, let's do patio, lawn, and garden. Interesting category here. So we do see, that one's really cheap. Never mind, not looking at that one. $21 for a flat belt mower. Interesting. 3K rank sells really quick. Let's take a look at it. Again, this is just stuff you're not going to find on, most storefronts that you look at. If you're used to sourcing Nike, very few storefronts that sell a lot of Nike are going to have a product like this on their storefront, which also, means like there's only 15 sellers in this listing. We go back farther, like really in the last year, the highest offer count this has seen is $21, and the price hasn't really adjusted much. A lot of FBM sellers on this, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if this is an FBM opportunity, I'm not going to pass it up. So we have the flat belt mower for a John Deere product here, mower belts. So we just got to make sure the specs are the same. So let's search it in Google and take a look here. So we do see the product. What is our cost here? $21. Again, we got to make sure that all of this is the same before we actually pull the trigger. So we need John Deere, so 34, 38. Amazon there. Let's see. Doesn't look like we're going to find it cheap enough. Yeah, we got to get this for much lower than we're seeing it. Let me just quickly open this. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to go a little bit deeper in the search. Again, we're looking for like the price listed below the website, and we want to make sure the website actually looks legitimate. Like probably not buying from Ubuy Nigeria for something like this. They don't even have, US prices listed. So let's take a look quick here. So this is the same product, but way too expensive. So let's move on. But again, the more you see this stuff, the more you learn about it. Looks like a lot of FBM products here that they're selling, which is maybe we don't want to look at a storefront like this if they're selling a lot of, FBM products or OEM stuff. Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of that because, again, we want to buy FBA products so we don't have to, prep a bunch of stuff ourselves. If it's mostly FBM sellers, there's probably a reason. Maybe it's too expensive to ship. It's a big product that would be high in storage fees on Amazon. So, but sometimes people sell only like specific products FBM, and then the rest of their storefront is FBA. So that's the goal, is to find a storefront like that. Let's try these guys. Only one review, but it's an FBA seller. Of course, they're only selling tools and home improvement, 2 brands, but maybe this is a brand that is pretty solid, really low rank. So that's a good sign here. It looks like just a dimmer switch. So let's take a look. I don't know the cost of dimmer switches offhand, so but these charts look pretty flat. Not a ton of offers on them, but the rank is crazy good. So hopefully we can find. Okay, it is a variation listing, but anything sub 1,000 rank is going to sell often. So let's just make sure this variation actually is like worth selling. Because again, even in some of these like really fast selling variations, some of them might be like no reviews, right? So we don't want to sell those. But it looks like the 1-pack white dimmer is the one we're looking at, and that's the number 1 selling variation. 17%, tons of reviews, review counts going up. So that's a great sign. Amazon's not on either of these, and I think that's what the other one, maybe not. So that looks like a different listing. But we have 2 options here, basically. One is we'll have to look dimmer with the wall plate, and one is just the 1-pack dimmer. So you can see, one gives you the wall plate, one doesn't. So, but the one without the wall plate maybe is a little bit cheaper. Maybe the wall plate adds cost. So we're going to take a look at Google here and see if we can find a direct match. So we got a 4-pack for, what do we need to buy this for? $13. So I don't know if this is the same product here. Maybe it doesn't quite look like it. Maybe it is with that little dimmer switch there, but 52 divided by 4 puts us at 13. So maybe that's something. We got to make sure it's the right, part number and all that stuff. I don't see Lutron on there, so might not be the right product. But we do see the white dimmer there. That might be the direct match. This would be a product where I would like to see like this code in there. So might not, when you get this like long code like that, it might not be in the title, but it also might, we might get some better searches searching that. So again, I like to see that Lutron. $25 is way too expensive, right? That's basically what it's selling for, 27. So we'd like to see, under, obviously like to see $13, but Granger has Lutron here. Let's see, dimmer, access, serviceable. Let's open this because this is the right price. But we just want to make sure the box, or we're getting the, this is a 2-pack here. Interesting. Let's see if the 2-pack shows anything. I'd like to see what the 2-pack price is, because maybe that $46 isn't too far off. Lowe's, we're looking at like a completely different product here. Walmart, too expensive. 12-pack though. Lutron sells it themselves. Let's just open that up in a separate tab and take a look. Some of this stuff might not be the most exciting of products to look for, but it's what a lot of sellers aren't actually looking at. So, a lot of them are going for the best beauty products, or the best, home and kitchen products, the best clothing products like Nike and Adidas. And there's just so much opportunity in some of the other lesser categories that most people don't search. So that's kind of what I've been putting a lot of focus on, and my VAs have been finding a lot of stuff in this category. So definitely opened me up to understand that there's a lot of other products, and I have found some really good replenishables in this category that I can keep buying. It's not easy to find, and it sells 20 to 30 times a month. If I could sell this 30 times a month and make a product like this and make $5-6, that's a solid product, and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over and keep trying to find these types of products. So I'll answer some questions after I just quick confirm that this product is either good or not. We have this long code here, ideally the MKDWH, not really the same code, and it's probably because the product's slightly different. Again, we're a little bit cheap here for an X service switch, white, Pro LED. It's like this is a color change kit, so not exactly the same product. Again, they're looking at like this is probably what we would need to see, and that's way too expensive. So we're just going to close out of that. This one, not even a product. It's just like a manual or something. So there's another color kit that's cheap. Zorro has it for the one we need, I think, for $22. So that's too expensive. Don't think we're going to find it here. So let me, before we get into the next product here, let me quick look at the chat here. So Unwind Travel, since Q3 is almost here, any advice to prepare for Q4, FBA, and FBM? Personally, I'm not really focused on like preparing for Q4 yet. I'm actually really starting to prepare for back to school because that's like a mini Q4, a mini Christmas. There's the products in these categories, like they react the same way all products do during December. So basically, like the backpacks, the shoes, the kids' clothing, stuff like that, all kind of like drops in rank, and the price, the stock counts sell out of a lot of stuff, and then that means the prices get to go up. And if the prices don't always go up, then they still like sell really fast. So, some backpack listings you'll see for like most of the year, they're sitting at like 70,000 rank. And then in, July, August, the rank drops all the way down to like 3,000. And in the clothing category, that sells super fast. So as many backpacks as you can get your hands on, if you're profitable, that's what you want to focus on. So right now I would use this 4th of July sale that's coming up, or any sales that happen during the 4th of July to, look for back to school products, and then start sending those in FBA and into Amazon. And then hopefully you can, keep doing that, keep pushing those types of products. Look at the charts from last year to see what those products did. And then, hopefully that helps you make some smart buying decisions for this, back to school season. And then, I guess once that's over with, then maybe I'll start to prep a little bit for Q4, but it's not a lot of prep. It's more like, find the products that are solid, look at charts from last year. I don't do a ton of seasonal stuff during Q4. But I just know like the fast moving products move twice as fast. So, you want to start building stock on that stuff, or you want to consider like where you're going to buy a bunch of items because, last Q4, I bought like a Nike football that I was selling like 20 or 30 of them every day in the month of December. So, they don't normally sell 20 or 30 times a day, or maybe they do. I just wasn't getting that much sales because there was low stock. But, it's the products that sell well, like footballs do well in the fall anyway. So they still sell, for me, I was still selling 3 to 5 a day. And then, in Q4, November, December, it really picked up because it's a good Christmas gift. So people are, that's kind of how you move into Q4. But let's focus on back to school first because there's so much opportunity there. We don't want to mix over or pass over it. So this is your preferred niche. The tools and home improvement is not my preferred niche. I still am learning it. I don't know a ton of stuff. I don't know a ton of I don't have a ton of interest in this category, but I know there's so much opportunity. So I am trying to like expand my knowledge in it. I really like the health and household category. There's just so many products. I mean, it sells really quick because there's a ton of products in that category, but I think a lot of people skip over the like 125K to 200K rank products in that category, and there's just tons of opportunity there too. And again, like I'm finding these products that, I can sell 7 to 15 times a month, right? And if I'm making $10 profit, there's around $100 profit per month on one product, and then I'm finding, one of those types of products every day, and my catalog slowly starting to build. And maybe some of those products, right, like for Q4, moving ahead here, you find a product that's 150K rank now, but in Q4, the thing, 150K rank doubles. So instead of selling 15 a month, you're selling 30 to 40 a month. And then maybe the prices even go up, and then now you're selling a ton, during Q4. So you want to be really aware of what your listings are doing now, and then that will help you transition. And I agree, you'll find these on any leads list. Yeah. Most leads lists are not looking at like light switches and stuff like that. So Phil Flipper, how's it going, dude? Thanks for joining. Thomas asks, is Keurig safe to sell? SellerAmp has an orange IP alert for Keurig. I think I've sold Keurig before. I've done some retail arbitrage with, or maybe I'm still getting Keurig. I know there's a couple like retail arbitrage brands like Keurig that people are purchasing. I haven't heard of anybody getting IP complaints from Keurig, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Orange alert doesn't mean too much. Red alert when you get concerned. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Bill sold some Keurig cups, K cups. So and I think I've sold some filters in the past from them too. So uh, yeah, the orange or the yellow or orange, on Seller Amp is definitely confusing, um, because they're overly cautious on like what they claim to be an IP complaint or something that could be. Normally, the data will tell you if you see like if you go back in the chart and you see these big drops from 40 sellers down to 5 or 10 down to 0 in the matter of like a couple hours, that's the signifies like an IP claim where they basically are regated all these people and their listings dropped off, and that's when you'll see that. So if orange alert, if I see the orange alert, but I don't see any hard drops in seller on history, should be good. Yeah, for the most part, should be good. If you are really nervous about it, like maybe do a test buy. They're not always going to show. There's certain brands that will like send you cease and desist letters, or they'll like send a message in your Seller Central account asking you to take the product down, or they'll take legal action, stuff like that. So it's not always going to show in the charts because some people like ignore those and they keep selling them. But yeah, you'll notice the big drop offs on certain brands, and it's going to be pretty obvious. So you will know not to sell that type of product. What does it mean on keep a chart when the seller count jumps up actually instead of down? I see this where sellers went from 14 to 33 instantly. Um, that is most likely due to like people's FC transfers all hitting at a similar time, or maybe there was a pricing error or something like that where you know people's products were like in stock but not available, and then all of a sudden like 10 sellers, 15 sellers all become available because either something happens or FC transfer hits or something like that. So um, definitely not a bad thing, but it is, unfortunate when you see the seller count shoot up really fast because you don't want that to really ever happen on your listings, but it happens. Do you sell any product where IP alert goes off like number 7 brand? I do not sell any of those. I think I've heard of a lot of people getting message from the brand saying, take the product down. So I don't want to get involved in any of that. I don't want IP claims. I don't want any legal team coming after my business, right? I want to just be selling products that I can sell without any issues. And there's tons of other products, in the beauty category other than number 7. So I just avoid them. Let's see. What's your go-to refund service? Bill, I use Getita. I know a lot of people are using Seller Investigators, which I think both of them are pretty decent. There's one more that I've heard of, but I personally use Getita right now, so they seem to be doing okay. I think their Seller Investigators might be a little bit cheaper, as in they take a little bit less of your money when they actually get you the refund. But otherwise, let's get back into some sourcing. Answer a lot of good questions there. Keep them coming. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But let's do a little bit more sourcing since that is the title of the video here. So we have another product here. This one is pretty cheap. Again, I don't know if we're going to find anything for $4, but we can see who else is selling it. Hopefully not all wholesale sellers, but looks like we're finding a bunch of them here. So let's look at this seller, even though it's FBM. Looks like they do have some products here. Hopefully their tools and home improvement are not all one brand, but okay, there's a bunch of different products here, which is good. So, or a bunch of different brands at least. Watt stopper, $17, decent rank, not a ton of sellers. Price is pretty flat. Let's take a look. All right, so one thing we want to make sure is that we have all the specs correct. If this is the, the part number or whatever, manufacturer number, we want to make sure that matches. So let's take a look in Google. Keep a chart look pretty solid, so that's what we care about. we need to be under $21 basically. So right now I'm seeing that BZ50, $34, way too high. I think this thing's selling probably for right around there. So yeah, $39. So 43, 37, 36, all a little too high. So maybe not going to find it here. Doesn't hurt to, like, if you're only looking at this and you don't find it, you got to go a little bit further than that. You can definitely like scroll down and see, because sometimes like websites that carry the product isn't actually listed up here for whatever reason. Amazon or Google doesn't catch it, so it doesn't hurt to scroll down and actually see, like, you might just find the product at a certain site. Like, I don't know if I saw Walmart up here in any of the top ones, and Walmart sells it, so it's not cheap enough. But it doesn't hurt to just scroll down, check some of these websites to see if they actually have it, and it might be profitable. Who knows? This one doesn't look like it's good enough, but let's keep looking here. It looks like they have quite a few tools and home improvement products. That's their main category. So hopefully, if they're a good storefront, they should have some good products if they know what they're doing. So this one, the rank looks like it's all over the place. It's in a dip right now, so 172 might not be the average rank. But let's take a look. 43 bucks is pretty high for a breaker, maybe. So based on intuition, let's take a look. So we have $79, pretty decent, 30 amps. So that might give us a little bit of room to work with here. We have $75 seems to be about the average. The average 90-day rank is 300K. But again, 12 sales a month. Let's take a look at the data. A product like this, a lot of people are going to skip over. It's a lot of FPM sellers too. But if we can see that some people are actually selling this product, then maybe it's worth buying a couple as a test buy. So some of these, you're going to see these big drop-offs. With FBM sellers, you got to be a little bit careful because they can control their stock. Amazon doesn't know how many they have in stock because they can write 100 and they can only have 5 in stock, but they just change it when they actually get more in stock. So saying that they sold 120 is probably not true, because you can see their baseline stock is 23. These spikes are, something that they can control. So it's saying that they have over 100 in stock, or almost 100 in stock, and then it goes down to 23. So all of these peaks and drops, they count that as stock count going down. So if it was at 80 up here and then it goes to 23 like that, it's basically saying they sold 60. So these two spikes are counted in this 120. So I wouldn't trust any of this data at all. It's used anyway, so we're not looking at used listings. We can see some of these other ones, maybe 3 down to 2. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Like, is this 5 to 1? Did they sell 4 right away, or did they actually modify their stock count? So something to be a little skeptical on. But we can see also that it has 12 drops in a month. So if this thing does sell 12 times, if we can get 5 of those sales, half of them, maybe it's something to look into. There's not a ton of sellers on the listing here, only 2 FBA. So if we're priced competitively and we're an FBA seller, maybe that's enough for us to get the buy box often, right? So obviously it's been at like 79 for a long time, 79 down to 75. So if we're priced with one of these two as an FBA seller, we're probably going to get the buy box pretty often. We can see some of these other sellers are getting it, but not very often. It's like randomly they'll get like the spike. So I would expect to sell this at 79. So let's take a look at Google here. Got to find it for 43. Again, this might be a little tricky, but what I like to do with these is put this in quotes so we get the exact product match. And it's an expensive product, that's for sure. So we have a match here for 40, 43. So that's looks pretty promising. 30 amp also. Mini circuit breaker, we have $34. If that's the same one. QOB3, yeah, look at that. That's the same one. It's 30 amp, 10 kiloamp. That looks like the same. You have 240, so that looks like a match. Let's just take a look here if we can find any other listings of it. This one I'm hoping is like more than one pack, 233 bucks. There, no one's going to buy from them. But some other sites are selling a little more expensive. So only has one in stock, but 40 is below our what we need here. So we're making 42%, $17 profit. So again, even if we're selling 5 of these a month, and if you want to test buy a couple, right, you buy 3 of them. How quickly does that sell? If it takes 2 weeks to sell 3, then you can probably safe to assume you could sell 6 in a month. So you buy 6 the next time around. If you sell 6 in a month, it's $100. $100 profit per month. The price is pretty steady. We don't expect a ton of change there, but you can make $100 per month on one product. You find 10 products, there's $1,000 profit per month. Only 10 products, right? And they all, if they all look like this. So, don't skip over these types of listings just because the initial numbers don't look amazing. Thomas, how much do you rely on the offer sold chart? Seems like they are not really accurate anyways, always. Yeah. They're not always the most accurate, but it definitely helps paint the picture, right? Like this listing is not a good one to look at. I'll show you another one where it's maybe like this one, maybe where, let's take a look. So again, we get rid of the used ones. It is nice to filter by prime. Prime sellers sold, let's see, 130 total, which means some FBM sellers are getting sales, but 120 sales. We can see that it only says 29 here. So we just want to make sure, right, their stock counts, does it look legitimate that they actually sold 68? Since it's an FBA seller, Amazon is tracking this data, how much they're actually selling. So, and it does look like it's going down incrementally. It's not like a straight drop from 50 to 10. So people are probably actually buying this product. Same with these guys. We see kind of a big drop back there, but at least recently they went from 68 down to 18 or 19 in a couple days span. So definitely could be legitimate. But again, it only estimates 29 sales a month. So if you look at that and you say that's not enough for me, this is a product I see a couple sellers selling 50 times a month. Like imagine if we sold this, if we're getting it profitably, right? $4. If we sold this 50 times a month, I mean, that seller that sold 50, $165. So if we pass up on this, like I would want to test buy 5 of them. It's not going to be a huge profit. But if I see that I sold out 5 in the first 2 or 3 days, then I know, okay, I could probably actually, if I get the buy box, I could probably sell this 50 times a month. And then maybe my next buy is going to be 20 or 30. And then if I sell out of 20 or 30 before the month runs out or before the month is over, then I'm like, okay, I actually can sell this 50 times a month. And all of a sudden you found a product that's making you over $150 profit. And that's just one product. Again, we stack those products and then we start to build this big, catalog of profitable leads, making us, 1,000 a month, and then you keep stacking them and you get to 2,000 a month and it just scales from there. So, I do look at that offers tab often to try to see, and again, you want to look at the chart. You want to make sure there's not just these massive drop-offs, like going from 322 to 110, unless like a company bought that and they needed a bunch of them. That's a little unrealistic, but this recent drop from, 68 down to 51, I've sold stuff like this before where, yeah, someone buys 20 of them in one order. Huge sales day, but it's like some companies are buying these, business, whatever, small machine shops, whatever it is. And they don't just need one, they need a bunch of them. So that can happen in products like these. Like this only going from 16 down to 1, like someone could have bought 15 of those. That's not unrealistic. Thomas asks or says, I also heard you should click the include historical offers. That way, if anyone's sold out, it still shows for a month. Not sure how true that is. Yeah, that's definitely true. I definitely normally include historical just because, yeah, again, you might have somebody who sold 20 of them, but they sold out of their stock. And if there are, what's also like really good to see is that if you have a certain number here and then you include historical and that number goes up, that's a good sign that the product is selling because it means that people are selling out of they're selling so well that they're selling out of their stock. So if there's, 3 or 4 sellers that are now historical and not on the listing anymore because they sold out and they have sales history in the last 30 days, that means that they had stock, they sold out, now they're not on the listing anymore. And they're contributing to the amount of sales per month. So that is a little bit extra data that the sales rank might not tell you. So all good things to keep in mind. All right, let's go through like 1 or 2 more products. Then I'm going to wrap it up here. I've been on for 45 minutes already. Sheesh. Okay, so this one actually is the same product, we're looking at $34.99. Sell your new and used. We just got to make sure that this is like a new product here. Free shipping, eBay, something with eBay, C&G surplus. We just got to make sure that that's a legitimate website. But again, I'm not actually buying this product right now. But $34.99, that puts us at a pretty solid profit for this product here. Maybe there's some shipping costs in there, but if we buy enough of them, 63%, $22. Again, if we're only selling this 5 times a month, 6 times a month, $133 for one product in a month. I'll take that all day and I'll stack it 10 times. There's $1,300 profit in a month. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Didn't do a ton of sourcing, but I hopefully had some good explanations of certain ideas and ways that I'm sourcing right now. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. If you got any questions, always, leave comments on my videos or message me on Instagram, whatever you got to do. But thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys on my next live.